because nobody can do it for you. And if you don't believe that you are the best person to run your business, you will always take judgment personally. You will always take feedback personally. You will always think that you're doing things wrong or not good enough. You're listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, a business and mindset coach who specializes in imposter syndrome. If you feel like you're not as smart, capable, or worthy as you actually are, and that someone is going to find you out, then you've come to the right place. I went from being a struggling government worker, working my coaching business on the side, but feeling unworthy and burnt out, to making multiple six figures helping women overcome imposter syndrome so they too can sign clients, make bank, and have the business or career of their dreams. I am nothing special. I have a stuttering disability, ADHD, and I struggle with anxiety and depression. So if I can learn how to feel good enough and overcome my inner imposter, then so can you. Let's dig in. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. I'm your host, Jill Perrick, business and mindset mentor, and I wanted to do something really special for you today. As you guys know, I announced that we are doing the mini mind for Unfiltered and Filthy Rich. So you'll be able to get the course, which is $1,111. But in addition to that, you will get a mini mastermind. It's going to be for 8 weeks. We're going to be doing content reviews and hot seat coaching calls and content parties. It's going to be a fucking vibe. I'm so excited for it, and I decided to be a crazy fucking bitch and give you one of the mindset trainings inside of the course exclusively for the pod today. And okay, maybe I'm giving you this because I'm getting you hype for the fact that we are doing the mini mind, because it's going to be amazing and it's going to be so fun. I love doing content with people, and your content is going to get so hot, so spicy, so unfiltered that people who have been hiding behind their screens are going to come out of the woodwork and they're going to be like, I've been following you for so long. Your content spoke to me. Let's fucking do this. I love when that happens. And that is the vibe for the Unfiltered Mini Mind. So like I said, over the course of 8 weeks, you'll get content reviews. We'll do content parties where you'll create weeks worth of content in just one sitting, and we'll have hot seat coaching sessions so you can become your most real and unfiltered self in your content. And like I said, this is all in addition to having the Unfiltered and Filthy Rich content course for life. Okay, so there's no editing or anything done to this training. You get the whole freaking thing because I love you, and you'll be able to enroll into the mini mind between February 12th and when we begin on the 26th. So yay, the investment will be $1,597 if you pay in full, or 3 payments of $555. Okay. I love you, and I hope that you enjoy this exclusive training straight from Unfiltered and Filthy Rich, the content course. Becoming unfiltered. It is a motherfucking mindset. I did not start my social media pages for my business and instantly started sharing my deepest truths and my hot takes. And that's because becoming unfiltered is just that. It's a process and it's an evolution. And this is mostly because it is threatening as all hell to our primitive brains and to our nervous systems to stand up for what we believe in, say what we really want to say, go against the grain, and truly be ourselves in our content and in how we show up online. It's also an evolution and a process because posting things on social media and learning how to do so authentically, in quotes, is something you actually have to learn how to do. And I just want to start this by saying that you are safe to use your voice. It is safe to take up space. It is safe to share your unfiltered beliefs, thoughts, and opinions. Something that I think that many of you will resonate with, if not all of you, is you might have boomer parents or around that generation. And a lot of these parents were not emotionally mature enough to communicate properly with their children. And I've seen this in myself and in basically all of my clients. And something that I had to heal was the fact that when I did or said something that my parents didn't like, they would ice me out. They wouldn't exactly communicate with me on what they didn't like, sometimes they would just yell or they would say that they were disappointed and they would ice me out. So I developed this perfectionist way of being in terms of always needing to be the perfect child and do all things perfectly so I wouldn't get stonewalled or ignored by them. And this happened with friends as well. One of my very good friends all through school was kind of horrible to me the entire time. And something that she would do is just switch up her behavior and decide that she was mad at you, but she would never tell you why. She would just ice you out, exclude you, and you were left wondering what the fuck you did. And again, this meant that I was going inwards, trying to figure out what I did wrong and how could I not do it again. So of course, these things subconsciously affect us as we come into the online space where there are no rules, no set way of being, and you basically don't know if what you're doing is working or not. And I just wanted to voice these two examples. The first one where it feels unsafe to use your voice, where it feels like you're going to get in trouble if you say the wrong thing. And I also just want you to acknowledge that there might be a defense mechanism from childhood that isn't true now. There is no governing a body in the online space. There is no right or wrong. There are no fucking rules. And you can trust yourself. You can trust yourself that the courses you join and the mentors you hire are meant to be and are perfect for you and your journey, and that it's all working. You get to decide that it's all working and that you can share your voice. It is safe to share your voice. It is safe to be you. It's safe to go against the grain and go against the rules because there truly are none. And anyone selling you rules or just one way to be successful is just trying to sell you. So now that we've established a safe foundation for you through the shadow work in the last training, and we reminded you that it's safe to use your voice and that you're not going to get in trouble or get iced out or canceled or that you're an outsider because you don't know the rules, I want you to feel like you belong. I want you to feel like you belong here in this online space, that you are important and necessary to your industry and your niche, and that your voice fucking matters. These are the first steps to becoming unfiltered. You have to find your voice first and foremost and feel safe using it before you can use it loudly and proudly. And when I think about becoming truly unfiltered, what immediately comes to mind as a block is judgment. Self-judgment and judgment from others. For self-judgment, listen to the shadow work training before this one. But for judgment from others, what if I told you that judgment from others only exists in your mind? I'm not saying that you're making up the fact that someone might judge you. People are most likely having thoughts about you, but a couple things about this. You don't give a fuck unless it's something you already are thinking about yourself or something that you're already insecure about. I have a mole on my lip and I have a stuttering disability. If someone were to rudely comment on the mole on my lip, I wouldn't even flinch or think about it for a second. But if someone were to comment on my stutter, I'd probably feel bad about it because I have thoughts about my stutter too. Judgment is always an opportunity to look inwards because you can't do shit about someone else's judgment of you. It's quite literally none of your fucking business. And 99% of the time, you won't even know what someone thinks about you. They won't comment on your post, they won't say anything to you, but in the off chance that they do, consider the source of where it's coming from. One time, my client's mom reviewed her slides for a workshop and she told her at the end of the workshop that it was too salesy. And I said, yes, it's salesy because you're selling. Always consider the source when you receive comments, judgment, feedback. You don't have to accept unsolicited feedback, and also for most of you, you're soliciting the wrong kind of feedback. Like in the beginning of my business, I asked for feedback from my friends and family, and even though I asked for it and they meant well, their advice wasn't helpful because none of them had ever run an online business nor even understood what coaching was. So for them to give me advice or feedback didn't really make sense, but because I didn't have that confidence in myself, I would rely on other people to tell me how to be and how to act and what to do. Hey guys, I hope you're loving today's episode. I am just taking a brief pause in today's episode to share with you a client testimonial. These testimonials are either from group coaching clients or clients who are in my one-to-one coaching program. And I can't wait for you to hear how I have changed their lives and their businesses for the better.
One of the best things about Jill is that she never lets you get away with your shit. I think in the coaching community, in the self-help space, it's seems like enough to hold space for people. But she not only holds space for you and like validates you and your feelings, but helps you figure out why they're there and reminds you that it's a choice, right? We're always going to have that first thought, but it's our choice if we want to believe it or not.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Now let's get back to the episode. Discernment is something you really learn as you grow your business, and you have to practice discernment when you're receiving feedback or judgment or criticism. You get to decide how you receive it, if you do at all. When you are being your most unfiltered self, this means having boundaries and standards for what you're going to accept. Like, for instance, if I receive any spammy comments or even rude comments on my Instagram posts, I've deleted them. And there is no obligation for me at all to accept behavior or comments or DMs from people. This is your business. This doesn't mean that when I'm actually engaging with people, I'm being rude. Like, there's someone I know online who made a post about not responding to people's DMs because she doesn't have the capacity. And I get it, but also your community is important. Engaging with your people is important. But when it's someone who's just trying to get something from you or being rude or wasting your time, you can utilize these standards and boundaries and decide what you're going to accept and what you're not going to accept. The same thing goes for talking about your business outside of your business. Like, I don't talk about my income with my dad anymore because he would make comments and start telling me what to do. When you feel in control of what you share and how you share it and what you're willing and not willing to accept, you feel safe to be yourself. You feel powerful, unashamed, and grounded. You feel like the owner of a business, not just a girl on Instagram. To give you even more of a reason to become unfiltered and not give a fuck what people say or do or think about you, I want you to think of running your business like running a marathon. My sister has recently gotten into marathon training, and while that's not my journey, it's very interesting watching her immerse herself into that community. She has a running group who she trains with, and I'm going to go and watch her during her first marathon ever. And while I can cheer her on, while her marathon group can hold her accountable, at the end of the day, it's my sister running the marathon. She has to put in the work. She has to train. She has to get everything to support her training. She has to actually run the damn thing. And the same thing goes for running a business. You can join communities, you can invest in yourself to support your business, but at the end of the day, this is your business. You have to do the work, you have to show up for it, and you have to be the one that does the thing. You are the main character, and others are just supporting characters. So if someone gives you advice, consider the source first and foremost, but also know that people are just side characters to your journey, and you have to be in your power to know what's best for you and what's best for your business. Because nobody can do it for you. And if you don't believe that you are the best person to run your business, you will always take judgment personally. You will always take feedback personally. You will always think that you're doing things wrong or not good enough. But you get to decide that you know best, that you're the main character, and you need to remember that at the end of the day, you're the one running the fucking marathon. So do what you need to do to get across the finish line and support yourself the entire way through. And this analogy isn't meant to make you feel alone in any way, but it's just the reality of the situation when you run a business. No one will know your business better than you, and no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. When I think about being unfiltered, I simply think about not holding back. There have been many times in the past where I've rewritten captions or left an idea in my notes app and just didn't speak my truth because I thought I needed to hold back. But then I started asking myself, is this serving my ego or my people-pleasing tendencies, or is it serving the highest good of my clients? And sometimes this line can be blurry. But you'll find that your ego is going to come up often when it comes to speaking the truth and sharing your beliefs with your audience, because the brain is self-preserving. It wants to keep you safe from danger, and because there's no saber-toothed tigers running around anymore, the risk to other people's perception of you feels like an attack. It feels dangerous. So being your true self online feels like it could threaten your character and subsequently threaten your income. And yet it does just the opposite. It draws the right people to your offers. It makes you different. It makes you real. It makes you authentic. It makes you powerful. And any story preventing you from doing this is coming from that need to protect yourself, protect your ego, protect your reputation. And yet you'll find that it's still all about you. when your content should actually be about your client, helping them, giving them value, showing them a different way. It is supposed to be of benefit to your potential client, not of service to you and your ego. The service to you is the emotional benefit of speaking your truth, of being authentic, of giving your all to your business. That is what you can gain from being unfiltered. And then, of course, we see the financial benefit. In the shadow work training, I talk about authenticity versus transparency and how sometimes people are overly transparent and think they're being honest and real, but this is still of service to them. They think they have to say these things so people can see them as relatable. They think they have to people please so people will like them, instead of actually assessing their values and what they think is of benefit to their audience. But being unfiltered isn't about just spilling everything out. It's about intentionally sharing your truth, intentionally showing your audience who you are and how that's going to benefit and impact them. And that comes with a little risk always. But remember, you're running the marathon. This is your business, this is your livelihood, and if someone doesn't like it, they are not for you. And you can decide that they are not for you. Let people have their thoughts about you. Let people have their paradigms and how they live their lives. Let people exist and move through the world, because you probably won't know what they think anyways. And if they do tell you what they think, they are just side characters. It is just a feeling that you're going to experience, and you can move through it. And you can decide if you're going to accept any kind of judgment, feedback, or criticism. And vice versa, you are also just a character in someone else's story. And maybe to some, because of your truth or something you say online, they will create you as the villain for that day. But then the sun will come up the next day and we will all move on. You will only benefit from being unfiltered. You will only feel more satiated, more purposeful, more fulfilled by deciding that your business is going to be the place where you are your most expressed, your most unfiltered, your most honest self. Because then nothing can touch you. You can't be fucked with. And you can decide right now that no one is going to fuck with your ability to be unfiltered and filthy fucking rich. And that no one has the power to control that but you. I'll see you in the next training. Thanks so much for listening to the From Imposter to Empowered podcast. Head to the show notes to learn how you can work with me, where you can buy my best-selling book, You're Not Special, and how to get on my email list for free. Screenshot this episode and add it to your Instagram stories, tagging me at YourCoachJill. See you next time.